Welcome to Bridge Academy. 6. The History of Computing. The Invention of Cipher Disk. Introduction. The history of computing is a fascinating journey that began long before modern computers. Early computing devices and techniques laid the foundation for today's technology. Leon Battista Alberti, who lived from 1404 to 1472, was the key figure in history. Alberti invented the cipher disk, an early encryption tool. His work shows how early ideas about codes and cryptography contributed to computing. This lesson will cover his contributions by explaining how his invention worked and why they matter. Computing history includes tools and methods for processing information. One early example is the cipher disk, invented by Leon Battista Alberti in the 15th century. Alberti was an Italian scholar born in 1404. He was skilled in many fields, including mathematics, architecture, and law. He came from a wealthy family and even advised the Vatican on architecture. His cipher disk was a mechanical device used to encrypt messages. It had two copper circles, one inside the other. Each circle had the alphabet written around it in order. The outer circle was fixed, but the inner circle could spin. By aligning a letter on the inner circle with a letter on the outer circle, called the index, the user created a new alphabet. This new alphabet was used to substitute letters in a message, making it hard to read without the disk. This method is called a polyalphabetic substitution cipher. Alberti could make the cipher even harder to crack by changing the index partway through a message. For example, he might start with the letter L as the index and later switch to P without knowing these changes. Decoding the message was very difficult. Alberti described his cipher disk in his 1467 book, De Cipheris. Later, Blaise de Vigenère improved Alberti's idea by creating a table showing all possible letter substitutions. However, Charles Babbage cracked Vigenère's version in 1854, showing that even strong ciphers could be broken. Another key figure in computing history is Abu Yusuf al-Kindi, who lived around 801 to 873. Al-Kindi was born in Basra, Iraq, and studied in Baghdad. At the time, people encrypted messages using two methods: transposition, which changed the order of letters or words, and substitution, which replaced letters with others. These methods seemed secure because the English alphabet has 26 letters, creating many possible combinations. However, Al-Kindi found a way to crack these codes. He used statistical analysis, especially letter frequency analysis, to study encrypted texts. This method looks at how often certain letters appear in a language. For example, in English, the letter E is very common. By comparing frequent letters in the coded message to common letters in the language, Al-Kindi could guess the substitutions. He also tried decoding probable words and vowel-consonant patterns. His techniques were so effective that he could decrypt messages in minutes, even without knowing how they were encrypted. Al-Kindi wrote about his methods in a book called Risala Fiesti Cry Al-Moama, a manuscript on deciphering cryptographic messages. This book was the first to describe cryptanalysis and statistical techniques. It was lost for centuries, but rediscovered in the 1980s in Istanbul and published in 1987. Both Alberti and Al-Kindi contributed to the history of computing through their work with codes. Alberti's cipher disk was an early tool for securing information, while Al-Kindi's cryptanalysis showed how to unlock that security. Their work was not about computers as we know them today, but it helped develop ideas about processing and protecting information. These ideas are still important in modern computing, especially in areas like cybersecurity. Alberti's cipher disk introduced the concept of mechanical devices for computation, while Al-Kindi's statistical methods laid the groundwork for analyzing data systematically. Summary: the history of computing began with early tools and methods for handling information. Leon Battista Alberti's cipher disk, invented in the 15th century, was a mechanical device that encrypted messages using a polyalphabetic substitution cipher. It was a groundbreaking tool for securing communication. Abu Yusuf al-Kindi, in the 9th century, developed cryptanalysis techniques to break encrypted messages using statistical analysis. His work was a major step in understanding how to analyze data. Together, their contributions show how early ideas about codes and data analysis shaped the development of computing. These foundations are still relevant in today's world of technology and cybersecurity. Thank you, like, share, and subscribe.